All right, I'm so excited to get into this two-part series on the abundance mindset and how to adopt it. In this first episode of the two-part series, we're going to talk about the abundance mindset and the scarcity mindset so that you know the difference, you know how to identify which one you happen to be using predominantly. And I'm going to give you some structure behind these two concepts so that you know what to practice and what to look out for in your day to day and how to train your mind to look for the abundance in the world and the abundance that really surrounds us. So to start, I'm just going to define an abundance mindset as the feeling that you are connected to the abundance in the universe. All that there is, all the energy, all the opportunity, all the things. But not only that, not only are you connected with that, you are purposefully aiming to see that. You are turning neutral events and seeing how they are abundantly oriented, where you can benefit from everything that you see, experience, and go through. The opposite of this kind of mindset is called a scarcity or a lack mindset. And it's basically the opposite mindset where your mind is dominated by fear and worry and the feeling that you never have enough and that you're never going to feel like you have enough. So there really is a stark contrast even at the beginning of the session. And I'm just going to give you some examples of both the abundant mindset and the scarcity mindset so you really get it, because you might be going back and forth between the two. I think oftentimes that's what probably the majority of people do, is sometimes we're seeing the positive and how much there is, and then we can quickly fall into oh wow, everything is so short in supply, I'm really lacking in this, I'm lacking in that. So my goal is to help you to understand what is involved, but then also to help you feel like it's easier to live in abundance, because I do feel that that helps you to open your own doors. Not only is the universe waiting for you to take advantage of all the abundance that is, we are sometimes waiting for ourselves to take that opportunity too. So the first example of an abundance mindset is when you tend to see situations as a win-win situation rather than something where you can fail. And I think when we get into the practice of fearing failure all the time, guess what happens? We stop even imagining or dreaming or aiming for the win. We are so busy trying to protect ourselves from shame or failure or disappointment that we don't even really try our hardest. And then we miss the win. So instead of thinking of everything as a test or a potential failure, I want you to start seeing things as a win-win, that you can win and your neighbor can win. It's not a competition for resources. It is a world where we can all have what we need. The second idea is that you learn how to express gratitude regularly, even when you're feeling like you're in a difficult or challenging situation. I think this is something that can be, we might need to break the habit of complaining about things, because it can be really fun or seem fun to complain about things when things aren't exactly going our way. Like we have a tech headache or a tech disaster right when we need to show up really professionally. That has happened probably to everybody who's listening to this podcast, and it certainly happened to me before. But I want to say that not only am I grateful for tech, I'm also grateful for the past headaches that tech has caused me, because I've become better and better at tech because of those headaches. I wouldn't have advanced in my knowledge about how to use tech for my benefit and for my business's benefit if I didn't go through those rough moments with the tech. So you see what I mean? We are seeing tech as a win-win situation where we're so lucky to have it. We're showing the gratitude, but we're also even seeing the nightmares that tech can bring us as opportunities for more wins. The next point to illustrate an abundance mindset is when you recognize that there is an abundance of opportunities surrounding us. And when you feel overwhelmed, you can just see that as, there's an indication that there's so much for me to handle, or there's so many opportunities. I can't even pick one. There's so much goodwill in the world. I am feeling completely emotionally overwhelmed. So I want to train you, or suggest to you, coach you, I should say, that if you tend to feel an overwhelm about the numbers of things and opportunities and feelings that you might have, think of that, instead of overwhelm, as overflow, that there's just so much good stuff coming your way. You happen to feel and be in a state of overflow. I think that phrase has a more positive spin than overwhelm does. And I'd love for you to try that out and let me know how that works for you. I am new to that word, but I like it because it just means there's just more where that came from. We never really have to worry about running out of steam, or running out of spirit, or running out of ambition, things like that. All right. The next point is, when you're in an abundant mindset, you know how to value the present moment, and you really find joy in being in the now, that you're not wishing for some time that happened long ago, or some time that has passed, but you are really grateful for everything that you have now, all the opportunities, all the people, all the options, all the unknowns. All of this is in the present moment, and stimulating and motivating and inspiring you, and it is all overflow. The next point is, when we're feeling abundant, we practice celebration. We actually look for opportunities to celebrate. We look for other people to celebrate with. We celebrate the achievements of our friends and strangers. We really feel that the successes of other people are just indications that there is just so much more for us that is possible in terms of achievement and success. And it's just this one big party. The next point is, when you're feeling abundantly, you will feel free to practice generosity. This is one of my favorite tips of all time, because once I learned that generosity wasn't going to deprive me of my resources, it was actually going to fill me up with joy and gratitude and good feelings, and a feeling of goodwill, that I've shown goodwill to someone else, I started to practice generosity much more willingly and often. And that, I think, always is a win-win. It's another example of activating win-win situations in your life. When you are practicing generosity, and we're in the winter season where gifts are about to be prepared and exchanged, and tips are going to be given, and compliments, and just warm feelings, hopefully. We know that this reflects that we feel well, that we feel that we have enough to give. And I just want you to just reflect on that for a moment. It can feel difficult to give if you feel like you're lacking. So if you're in that state, work on turning that lack into a sense of generosity. Even if you're feeling short on funds, I promise you, you can change that feeling of lack into a feeling of abundance. Just give it a try. And the last point on this list of concepts of abundance is maintaining an optimistic outlook always, and focusing on the positive. You know, if you've been listening to any of these podcast episodes, that this is just the root pillar for what I do and how I think and how I teach, that without a positive outlook, we're starting behind the starting line and with a positive outlook. I think we're giving ourselves kind of this quote unfair advantage that we are seeing the win that is just ahead of us. We are thinking, oh, wow, I am so lucky I'm in this position already, even before I've started. You want to just practice seeing the good in not only other people and situations, but also in yourself, how you think, how you feel, how you be. Just enjoy it all and make your mindset filled with positivity, generosity, gratitude, and abundance. All right, now we're going to flip the script and we're going to go through a few concepts that indicate that you might have an a lack mindset or a scarcity mindset, which basically is the same thing. So, one thing that might indicate that is if you're holding on to physical clutter. You probably didn't think I was going to mention that, or maybe you did, because clutter is in some ways real overflow. It's overflow that we actually don't need, but you might be clinging to that clutter out of some sort of fear that if you discard it or if you donate it or if you throw it away or if you put it aside, even that you're going to need it again or you're going to regret it. So that's that tricky dance that we do with our belief systems and our fears. Our fears can overwhelm our real belief that, oh, this little trinket here, it's actually clutter. I never liked it. I never use it. I already spent the money on it, so I don't have to worry about wasting money by giving it away or letting it have another life with someone else. But when you cling to these things that no longer have good energy for you, that may be a sign that you're living in a fear of lack and living in a fear that you're going to need this. And when we feel needy in any way, it is a sign of a lack mindset. The second idea is when we're fearing waste, like when we're fearing that we're wasting the clutter by giving it away, and focusing on seeing your resources dwindling rather than recognizing the abundance that you already enjoy. Of course, there are times when our resources will be sliding into the less category, less than more. But you know that typically it doesn't just end there, that you find another job, you find another resource, somebody gives you a gift, somebody gives you an opportunity. And so when you're already in a mindset that, oh, something better than this is coming, you can create an abundant mindset even in a time of real lack. So make sure to clear your mind of any fears of declining resources because there are always more resources for you to pursue. The next concept that I have for you about a lack mindset is worrying about money and viewing financial resources as scarce. Now, this is probably as old as money. For as long as money has been a concept, probably people have started to worry that there will be none, that there will be too little to be comfortable, that there will be too little and then problems will ensue. But I want you to check for yourself. Are you chronically in a worried state about your finances, your wealth, your abundance? And I want to ask if you can ask yourself, is that perhaps a reason why you're not seeing the ways to improve on that situation, right? Sometimes we think, oh, this is the situation I'm in. But sometimes staring at the situation is not helping the situation. Sometimes we need to just open up our hearts, open up our vision, and see, wow, there are resources everywhere. I just haven't been using them all. I've been afraid to knock on that person's door. I've been afraid to ask for support. I've been afraid to sell another item. I've been afraid to raise my voice and connect myself to someone who might be able to help me. These are all indications of fear and sometimes lack. And then the last concept on this list of lack mindset concepts is when you struggle to say no because you feel fearful. Is it's just a symptom that you feel like you have to say everything because you feel pressured to hang on to every person, to hang on to every opportunity. You lack trust that there's going to be a flow back and forth of opportunity, that some opportunities are going to go and they're going to be taken by other people, but that's going to be okay for them, of course. And then there are going to be other opportunities that flow in and are going to be just right for you. It's a little bit like Goldilocks and the Three Bears. It's kind of just wanting your own situation just right. Instead of fearing that you're not going to have your just right bowl of porridge or a life situation, you want to say, I trust that the universe has this situation that I'm craving and designing for myself in an abundant number of ways that I can find it. And I'm just looking forward to the moment when I realize that I can put my life path and my life vision together in a way that feels right for me, that feels just in the right timing, that does not wipe me out. And it is just filling me with joy and enthusiasm. So basically, the message about the lack mindset is you don't want to saddle yourself with that, because you know what? Life can be tricky. Life can be difficult. Our situations can be difficult, and actually finances and abundance can feel short sometimes, but you always want to make sure your mindset is leaning you in the direction towards having enough, having more than enough, having overflow, not just in your bank account and in your home and in your relationships, but in your heart. Really, we're going for that feeling that real abundance gives us, which is safety, peace, and calm. When you think about it, it's never about the stuff. It's really about the feelings that the stuff gives us. It's about the comfort and the safety and the feeling of well being. And know that with your mindset, you can set yourself up for abundance at the start. And I wish you all lots of abundance. I wish you all open hearts to receive abundance. I'm grateful for the abundance of your attention for me and this episode and this podcast. And I wish you a fantastic day. If you would like a free download summarizing and reminding you of the concepts of lack and abundance, I would be happy to share that with you. All you need to do is go to maketimeforsuccesspodcast.com/overflow. Again, maketimeforsuccesspodcast.com/overflow, and I'll send that free resource to you right away. In abundance, we live. Okay, take care, everyone. I'll see you next week when I continue this conversation on abundance. Bye.